All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into Sigma Computing. This is a super high growth data company that looks like it's on a collision course with an IPO. And we're going to break it down from the only angle that really matters the investors.
And that really is the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? Sigma is making some serious noise in the business intelligence world. But is it a true game changer that's here to stay? Or is the hype just getting a little bit ahead of the reality? Let's find out.
Okay, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with who Sigma is, then look at how they're shaking up the BI space. After that, we'll get into the numbers, the growth and the valuation. We'll cover their recent wins, then pivot to the risks, and wrap it all up with a final analysis. All right, first up, Section 1, the pre-IPO contender. So, who is Sigma Computing anyway? Okay, so what they do at its core is actually pretty simple, but it's also brilliant. They've built a platform that makes digging through massive amounts of complex data feel just like using a spreadsheet. The whole point is to give that power to the millions of people in business who aren't data scientists.
So that brings us to Section 2. How does a spreadsheet for the cloud really change the game? What's the fundamental problem that they're solving here?
You hear these buzzwords all the time, right? Data democratization. But what it actually means is giving everyone in a company, whether you're in marketing, sales, or HR, the power to find their own answers from data, without having to get in a long line and wait for some data specialist to help them. And this is where you can really see the difference. On one side, you have the old way of doing things with tools like Tableau. They're powerful, sure, but they often create these huge bottlenecks. Business teams end up waiting days, sometimes weeks, for answers. Sigma's whole approach is to just get rid of that wait time entirely. All right, Section 3, the money. A great product is one thing, for sure, but as investors, we need to know what's the financial story here. Let's unpack the numbers that are really fueling all this IPO excitement. Wow, over $500 million. And look at who's writing the checks, top-tier VCs like Sutter Hill and even Snowflake's own investment arm. That's a massive vote of confidence from inside the industry. And that funding led to this, a $1.5 billion valuation that officially puts them in that unicorn club. Now, hang on to that number because it's going to be really important when we get to the risks. Now, for any software as a service company, this is a huge milestone. Hitting $100 million in annual recurring revenue is like a signal flare that you're ready for the big leagues, ready for an IPO. And get this, they've said their goal is to double that this year. And this chart just says it all, doesn't it? I mean, look at this. The overall market is growing at a nice clip, 15–20%. But Sigma, they're blowing past 100% year over year. That's not just growth. That is a full-on land grab. They are aggressively taking market share. Okay, Section 4. So those numbers are fantastic, but how are they doing it? Let's look at their operational momentum just this year. It really shows a company that is just executing on all fronts. Just look at the pace they're on. In the span of a few months, they've positioned themselves as thought leaders. They've been named Partner of the Year by all the biggest names in their ecosystem. They're expanding physically, and they're pushing up major AI innovations. It's impressive. And for anyone looking at this as a potential investment, these aren't just fluffy awards. Each one of these is a major proof point. It shows deep, sticky partnerships, a mature product that's recognized by industry analysts, and a move towards stronger corporate governance with experienced execs. Okay, the growth story is incredible. It really is. But no investment is a sure thing, so let's flip the coin and look at the bear case. What are the red flags here? What are the risks? So let's break this down. First, the competition is fierce. We're talking about giants like Tableau and Microsoft's Power BI. Then there's that valuation we talked about. At 15 times revenue, it's way higher than the industry average. And finally, all this growth, it's being funded by investors, not profits. There's no clear path to profitability just yet. All right, Section 6, the final analysis. We've seen the good, we've seen the bad. Let's put it all together and figure out what this really means for you, the investor. And it really does boil down to this classic dilemma you see with so many high-growth tech companies.
The bull case is all about a disruptive product in a massive market with absolutely explosive growth. The bear case? It's all about that sky-high valuation, the giant competitors, and no clear profits on the horizon.
So here it is, the one question that matters before any potential IPO. Does Sigma's incredible product and insane growth justify paying a price that just towers over everyone else in their space? The market's answer to that is what will decide if this unicorn can really take flight.
So there you have it. If you found this explainer helpful, please subscribe